Hey everyone. So didn't get a chance to talk about this because I wanted to pretty much, make sure a lot of what I was hearing is true. And I have my security camera on so that way I can keep an eye on my mom. She's watching The Chosen right
Sorry,
now.
I don't understand.
And and that was my device going off. But like I said, I got my security camera on to keep an eye on my mom. So, she's watching The Chosen right now. So I'm taking an opportunity to record. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the whole Paramount Skydance merger, Skydance purchasing Paramount. And a lot of people are wondering exactly like what is the future of Paramount, after this merger, like what's next for them and everything. And I think honestly, when I look at this and I hear who's going to be in charge, I hear the potential of who's going to be in charge of what divisions, and all that. Um, I think honestly, Paramount's going to be fine. I think Paramount is going to remain as is. There might be a few changes. People. I'm watching. I was watching Animat's clip that he posted up from his podcast this past weekend, and he was reading the article where basically they were talking about the potential of Paramount Plus. Maybe being one of the, I guess you could say, assets that gets either sold off or at least bundled to save money. And I'm thinking more along the lines it's going to get bundled, I believe. I think it will get bundled. Now, if it gets, merged with another service, then that'll be interesting because Skydance pretty much has that leverage now. They could say, hey, we want to make a deal with Warner Brothers and merge you with HBO Max and call you Paramount Max or HBO Paramount or whatever. They can do that. But I think honestly, Paramount Plus. I think the best thing that's going to happen, more than likely, because you're seeing it now with a lot of these streaming apps, is it's going to get bundled. I mean, with Comcast right now, you got a bundling of, Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock all in one. Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock all in one bundle. I think they even have one for Max and Max as well, Max and Apple TV and Disney or something like that. So you get these bundles, and I think that's probably more than likely where Paramount Plus is going to be heading, because I think someone in charge of Paramount, because they have somebody in charge of Paramount Plus, they're going to basically say that people don't want to lose the programming they got with Paramount Plus, whether it's original programming, CBS programming, MTV, you name it. They're going to want it to remain all in one place. And I think what's going to happen is, Skydance is going to agree with that. The new people running it are going to agree with it, and but they'll probably say, what with that being the case, they might have to, more than likely bundle the service with other services through cable packages or streaming packages or whatever, to not only save on money but to make some money. As crazy as that sounds. They might even look at some shows that are classic shows from the 90s and 80s and so on that are licensed to Paramount Plus to be aired, and they'll be like, well, we know they're airing elsewhere. We don't really need them. So what if we decide to sell them off or decide to make an agreement to where, with let's say Wild Brain to not show this anymore, but to only show it, at certain times, like certain times of the year or whatever. Things like that could happen, but I think more than likely Paramount Plus will end up as a package, a bundle package, with the likes of Disney Plus and HBO Max, or Max, I should say, because that's probably the best solution to not only save some money, but also to make some money in return. A lot of people look at the fact that the animation departments might be in trouble. Skydance Animation, Paramount Animation, Nickelodeon, with especially with the likes of John Lasseter maybe taking over. And I look at this. I look at this as if Lasseter takes over, I'm sure he'll be taking over. With some restrictions. Like, I don't think Skydance. I don't think you know I don't think the people at Paramount, are going to, just let, the new boss is the new owner, waltz right in and say, hey, Lasseter is the guy for animation. They're going to be like, look, he can be in charge of your animation, but he's not in charge of ours. So they might have a few, I guess you could say, quirks, put into the contract, little steps, if you will, to ensure that, people like Lasseter, even though they'll be working under the same company, don't work, in certain areas that, they pretty much put a lot of effort into. So I don't think Lasseter is going to be running Nickelodeon or Paramount Animation anytime soon. So I think people can not worry about that for right now. Now, if he does, again, I've got a feeling that he might have some restrictions, like, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't overwrite this, you can't interfere in that. So if he takes over, they're going to probably, tell him, hey, you got a few steps you got to follow, or else you're not going to be doing this anymore. So that if he takes over, I've got a feeling that may be what they do. But I don't think he will. I think overall Paramount Plus is going to be fine. I think Paramount itself is going to be fine. I look at it kind of very similar to what's going on with Universal, and everything. Universal is owned by Comcast, Xfinity. And so far after that acquisition, Universal has pretty much felt the same. Like, even though it's owned by somebody else, another entity, they're pretty much the same. It's like nothing has changed. Nothing has changed except when you see the Universal thing come across the screen, this is a Comcast company, that's it. Nothing really has changed, at all. Same with Disney. Disney, they own Star Wars, they own Marvel, and they own Fox. And with a few exceptions, especially when it comes to Star Wars, everything else, with a few, they've had a few they've had their tribulations, don't get me wrong. But outside of those tribulations on all those ends, the Fox end, the Marvel end, the Star Wars end, and all that, outside of those tribulations, they've pretty much felt like, the same old Marvel, the same old Star Wars, and the same old Fox, as they always have, even prior to being acquired by Disney. So I think, I think honestly Paramount's going to be fine. They're just gonna, when the movies begin, you're gonna see the Paramount logo pop up, but then underneath you're gonna see, it's saying a Skydance company, and I think that's it. I think it's gonna pretty much remain as is. I don't think much will really change. It will probably have some trials and tribulations, just like Marvel and Star Wars and Fox has had with Disney, and I'm sure Universal has had with Comcast. But outside of those trials and tribulations it's gonna have, I don't think it's gonna really change much. It's gonna basically feel like it's the same old Skydance it always has been. Oh, not Skydance, but the same old Paramount, I should say, that it always has been. Excuse me there. But yeah, I don't think much is going to change, and I don't think we need to worry about it that much. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. How do you feel about the Skydance Paramount merger? Do you agree with my assessment that I don't think much will really change, except for maybe a few trials and tribulations here and there, like the other mergers have had? Let me know. Comment below comment below with your answer. Also check out the links to my other places in the description where you can find my you can find my content, as well as my Teespring store to purchase merchandise you can't find anywhere else. But let me know what your thoughts are, and until then, I am out.